Welcome to Leave and Care Division's Premiums and Wage Reporting webinar. Our agenda includes discussing the employer role and responsibilities, wages, premium withholding and premium calculations, reporting, and how to submit payments. Employer role and responsibilities. The reporting responsibilities for employers include managing WACARE exemptions, collecting premiums for both programs, and reporting quarterly hours worked and gross wages for employees. Employers will file one report for both paid leave and WACARES. Please note this is a separate report from what is required for unemployment insurance. After premiums have been collected and hours and wages have been reported, the employer will then pay the premiums due to the department. For WACARES, there are exemption considerations for employees. It is the employee's responsibility to alert the employer of an approved exemption by providing a copy of the exemption letter from the department. The employer must keep a copy of the exemption letter on file. And the employer would not deduct WACARES premiums from exempt employees. Know that employees are not entitled to a refund of premiums withheld before their exemption was approved or before they provided a copy of the exemption approval letter to their employer. Wages. Part of the employer's responsibility is determining what wages to include for premium calculation. Some examples of wages include salary or hourly wages, commissions or piecework received, holiday pay and paid time off, including vacation and sick leave, the cash value of goods or services given in place of money, bonuses received, separation pay, including severance or termination pay. Please note that additional examples of wages are included in the Washington Administrative Code 192-510-025, which can be found online at ledge.wa.gov. Premiums. It is the employer's responsibility to collect premiums from employees. Premiums should be assessed on wages at the time they are paid and not as earned. An example would be an employee who received a paycheck in July for hours worked in June. The employer would report the wages earned and hours worked in their Q3 report. Wages are defined as remuneration paid by an employer to an employee for employment. This definition of wages applies to both paid leave and WACARES. It is not lawful to withhold more than the maximum allowable of the employee share of the premium. For paid leave, the maximum employee share is 72.76% of the 0.8% premium. And for WACARES, employers cannot withhold more than 0.58% of the premium. For paid leave only, there is a Social Security cap to take into consideration. Employers should not withhold premiums once the employee has reached the Social Security cap. Should an employer withhold more than the maximum allowable employee share of the premium, the employee does have the right to make a complaint to the department regarding the overwithheld amount. The employer should not apply the overwithheld amount to a future employee premium or quarterly premium payment. The overwithheld amount must be reimbursed to the employee. For paid leave, the 2023 premium rate is 0.8% of gross wages up to the Social Security cap. The employee portion of the total premium is 72.76%, and the employer portion is 27.24%. The premium for paid leave is calculated in a two-step process. First, calculate the total premium due by multiplying the employee gross wages by 0.008. Once the total premium is determined, multiply that amount by 0.2724 to get the employer portion of the premium amount due. And to get the employee portion of the premium, multiply the total premium amount by 0.7276. The employer can choose to withhold the entire 72.76% from the employee's paycheck, or the employer can cover all or some of the premium on behalf of their employees. For paid leave, premiums are no longer deducted from an employee's wages once they earn over the Social Security cap. The Social Security cap does not follow an employee from employer to employer. For example, if an employee has multiple jobs or changes jobs within the year, the employee continues paying the premium until the cap is reached at each job. For 2023, the Social Security cap is $160,200. Keep in mind there is no Social Security cap for premiums with WACARES. For paid leave, employers with fewer than 50 employees are considered a small business by the department, and they are not required to pay the employer portion of the premiums. Employers with 50 or more employees are considered a large business and are required to pay the employer portion of the premiums. Business size is calculated annually after September 30th of each year. The calculation is done in September and is used to determine the business size for the next calendar year. The size determination is based on the average number of employees reported in the previous 4 quarters. We use the employee head count and not the full-time equivalent position count or any other accounting method. If a business size has changed from the previous year, they will receive a letter from the department with the new business size determination. If the business size determination remains the same, they will not receive a letter regarding business size. And for new businesses, we look at the number of employees submitted on the first quarterly report to determine business size. That determination will remain for the rest of the year until the annual resizing occurs. Let's review a business sizing example. To determine a business size for the year 2023, we add the number of employees on the quarterly reports from Q3 and Q4 of 2021, along with Q1 and Q2 of 2022. Then we divide that total by 4 to get the average number of employees for that business. In this example, the employer would be considered a large business since the average number of employees is 60, which is above the 50 employee count size that classifies businesses as large. With a large business determination, this employer would be responsible for paying the employer portion of the paid leave premiums. For WACARES, the premium is self-funded by employees. There is no employer portion of the premiums. The total premium rate is 0.58% of gross wages. The Social Security cap does not apply to WACARES. Even though WACARES is funded by employees, employers can choose to pay the premiums for their employees. It is still the responsibility of the employer to calculate, deduct, and report quarterly for WACARES. On the paid leave webpage, there is a calculator to help assist you with premium calculations. The calculator can assist with both paid leave and WACARES premiums. Please note, the online calculator does not take into consideration the Social Security cap on employees' wages for paid leave. The calculator is on the paid leave webpage at the web address provided in this slide. Quarterly reporting. For paid leave and WACARES, one quarterly report is filed for both programs. If no payroll for a quarter, then filing a no payroll report is required. Like most state agencies, reports and payments are due on the last day of a reporting month. If the last day falls on a weekend, then it is due the following Monday. Employers will file quarterly reports on the webpage secureaccess.wa.gov, and if they haven't already, they would add the service Paid Family and Medical Leave to their profile. You will find the Paid Family and Medical Leave service listed under Employment Security Department in the list of services. Know that the Paid Family and Medical Leave service will allow an employer to report for both paid leave and WACARES. Once the Paid Family and Medical Leave service is added to the user profile, click on that link, which will allow you to either set up an employer account, or if an employer account has already been established, you will be able to file a quarterly report. If this is the first time setting up a business with the department, know that you will have limited access until a PIN is requested. With limited access, reports can still be filed and premiums paid. Additional functions such as amending reports or adding additional system administrators will not be available until a PIN has been requested and entered in the employer account. After the business is registered, the next step is to submit one report for both paid leave and WACARES. After submitting and confirming a report has successfully processed, the next step is to submit a separate payment for each program. Required information on quarterly reports includes the UBI number, business name, reporting quarter, and total premiums collected. Required information for each employee includes the Social Security or ITIN number, the last and first name with middle initial as optional, gross wages paid and hours worked, WACARES exemption status, and date of birth. There are two file types that employers can use to report to the program. The first is manual entry, which is an online form. The other type is called a single filing method that includes a CSV spreadsheet upload of the employee's gross wages and hours worked. If there is no payroll for the quarter, then a no payroll report will need to be filed. With manual entry, each employee's wages and hours are entered individually into our system. Manual entry is limited to a 50 employee maximum. If a business has more than 50 employees, the manual entry method should not be used. For manual entry, employee information does not retain from quarter to quarter and will need to be re-entered each time. A CSV spreadsheet allows the employer to upload employees' gross wages and hours worked. One of the benefits of a single filing method is the employer can keep the original copy of the CSV file for their records. CSV wage report instructions and template are available on the website paidleave.wa.gov. And as mentioned earlier, if a business did not have payroll for the quarter, a no payroll report is required. After submitting a quarterly report, it is recommended the status of the report be checked to make sure the file was successfully submitted. It is also good practice to check the wage submission history before reporting to ensure that all previous reports have been successfully submitted. To check the status of a wage report in the Secure Access Washington Employer account, select Wage Reporting, then select Wage Submission History. The wage submission history will be sorted by the date the report was submitted and not by the year or quarter. The most recent report submitted will be at the top. Review the status column and make sure the report submitted is in process status and not rejected. Know that during a reporting month, due to high volumes, it can take up to 24 to 48 hours for a report status to change from submitted to processed. If a report was rejected, there will be a download hyperlink in the Record Errors column. Click on this link and it will advise which lines in the report have errors. It is important to verify that all previous quarterly reports have been successfully submitted and processed. If there are missing quarterly reports, please make sure to submit those reports as well. Prior to submitting payment, be sure to confirm the filed report status shows as processed. Premium payments. Once the quarterly report has been processed, the next step is to make a premium payment. A separate payment will be made for each program, one for paid leave and one for WACARES. Please know that the payment screens will look different for each program as we use PayPoint for paid leave and KeyBank for WACARES. Payment can be made online through the Secure Access Washington account, either by ACH debit, credit card, or debit card. We also accept checks or money orders. If paying by check or money order, be sure to include a voucher or payment coupon along with the payment. It is also recommended to add the UBI number of the business on the check or money order. Users can view their full transaction data, including payments, invoices, returns, and refunds for both paid leave and WACARES. To access, employers must have account administrator, wage manager, or payment user permission in their Secure Access Washington account. The employer account activity page includes information about employer account transactions, payments, premiums, and invoices for both paid leave and WACARES. For premium overpayments, there will be a credit balance on the account. This amount can be used towards the next quarter's premiums. If the credit balance is over $50, a refund can be requested by contacting the department. Resources for employers can be found using the web address on this slide. Information about upcoming webinars is found in the employer newsletters. You can sign up for newsletters on the web address referenced on this slide. All the content presented today is available on our website, paidleave.wa.gov. Additional WACARES information can be found at wacaresfund.wa.gov.